Hey, music lovers, welcome to the Musical Miles podcast. I'm your host, Byron Duffin, and I am here with Cody Canada. We are here at the Braun Brothers reunion in Chalice, Idaho. 40 years.
It's one of my. I feel like I played half of them. I think I have. To be honest with you,
Probably at least half.
Yeah, I think I started in. Probably 2002. So yeah.
Yeah, that's like 22 years. Yeah. Have you missed any, or have you been here every
Never
year?
missed one, and I don't plan on it.
All right.
I say it all the time, even if I'm not invited back, I'm still paying.
I don't think you'll have to.
Oh, I got the handshake contract deal yesterday by Muzzy.
Oh, there you go. Well, as long as Muzzy's around, the boys, that's another story.
Yeah,
right?
The boys probably wanted to fire me years ago.
I doubt it. Well, listen, we really appreciate you taking time. This is such a cool event, such a cool venue. Well, we're actually here at the Chalice Roadhouse, which is Andy and Mia were gracious enough to allow us to come here and film these podcasts, and it was kind of last minute. And so it's been really great. And we've been able to meet some great artists and do these interviews. But so you've got a long storied history in the music industry. I know you were born in Tampa, Texas.
Yeah.
And you guys moved away when you were how old?
We moved to northern Oklahoma when I was probably 2.
Oh, okay.
And then moved to Oklahoma City, probably 3 years old.
Okay.
And my dad, oilfield guy, mom worked at Jiffy Trip and Safeway.
Okay.
And then the oil boom happened, so then we were in good shape.
Yeah.
And then the oil boom the oil industry crashed.
Which it does.
It's
cyclical, right?
Yeah.
So, but the only other famous guy I know that was born or not born, maybe, I don't know if he's born there or not, but lives there is Billy Clapper. You know Billy Clapper? His famous bit and spur maker.
Yeah, I know that name.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I didn't know that Woody Guthrie spent some time in Pampa. He
Really?
lived there.
Really?
I had no idea.
Oh, that's cool.
Somebody brought it up to me in an interview, and they thought I knew.
Oh, right.
I was like, man, I can't answer these questions because I didn't know that.
Yeah. Well, and it's hard. And obviously, we've listened to your music for a long time and have been big fans from back in the CCR days. Yeah. I know at times that's probably a sore subject with you, but
no, in the beginning it was, but now, I just had my heart broke. We really I wanted to get that band together. And,
right.
Man, the pressure of constantly working and then having kids on top of that.
Yeah.
And trying to stay relevant. It was just, it tore the band up.
Sure.
And I still talk to the other 2 dudes. We're all cool.
Good.
We're all good. Nothing bothers me. It did in the beginning just because it was so fresh. And everybody was I say everybody, Jeremy and I, we're still together.
Right.
Everybody was just mad at each other. We
Sure.
were kids. And
well, you were young, right?
Yeah.
And you had huge success early on in your career.
It seemed, we spent 5 years in the band.
Sure.
But there were 3 bands.
Right.
So we worked our asses off.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
by the time we hit the bus, it wasn't about, let's get a bus because everybody else has a bus. Let's get a bus so we can rest.
Right.
Sleeping is all. You can't put on a good show if you're worn out.
Oh, no, absolutely not.
And we were worn out and hungover for about 16 years.
Yeah, I can imagine.
But it doesn't bother me. It's part of who I am. I wouldn't be anywhere without it.
Well, we loved a lot of those tunes from CCR, and we that's how we got to know who you are.
Yeah,
and,
I think that's how everybody did, really.
And the first time we I think the first time we actually saw you here was or live and met. I didn't really meet you then, but saw you live was here, and that was probably 10 years ago. And what I loved about that experience was, I'm standing out in the crowd watching the band play, and I don't remember who was playing, and I look over and you're right next to me, and that was just like, that's so cool that you love the music.
That's what I love about this festival is I saw it one day. Jason Eady was on stage, and Rodney Crowell was just sitting on a piece of ground, watching all by himself, having a smoke. And everybody knew it was him.
Sure.
But everybody let him be because
Sure.
He wanted to see the show. And when the show was over, he talked to everybody, and that's what this festival's about.
Yeah.
And Key West is the same way, but you go to other festivals, and you can't do that.
No. Oh no. Well, we were just at Country Jam in Colorado, and 40, 50,000 people. I don't know how many people were there, but it's just not the same. It's not the same vibe. Yeah, great music. Probably not. And we went because a friend offered us tickets. It's not something that we would have sought out because we're not really into modern country radio.
I'm not either.
You know, so but this is the music that speaks to us. And so these are the festivals we like to come. Mile Zero Fest. In fact, we got to meet Shannon and the boys at Mile Zero Fest in 2019, I think. 2020. Anyway, and got to see you because you had the boys on stage with you.
Yeah.
And they got to play with, and we actually saw Dirks play here with you when he was probably about 14.
Yeah. And now he's shredding.
Oh yeah, he's an incredible.
Willie's thundering, man. Willie's got heavy hands. I love it.
Yeah,
I love the thunderous drummer.
They are really growing. And you know, so you talked about that earlier. You mentioned about, you know, with Ragweed, the issue was families. One of the members started a family, right? Had you started kids? Had you had kids yet?
Yeah, we all had kids.
Okay.
When we did the Garage record, we had 3 first-time moms.
Okay.
And it was terrifying. I mean, we were trying to make a record, and you know, over half the band's pregnant.
Oh yeah.
And you know, Jeremy, we might have had all of them, right? But and Shelby, Wade's wife, who's Shannon's sister,
right?
She was pregnant because Dirk's. So Wade's kids, so his oldest boy and Dirk's are 6 weeks apart.
Oh wow!
And the 2 younger boys, and Willie and the younger boy, were 8 weeks apart.
Oh goodness!
So they're all real tight.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I'm sure. Well, but to your credit, you know, we watched you over the years that we've known who you are, and watched what you've done as a family, and how incredible that is that you've been able to, and you do it as a family.
Yeah.
Those kids are with you, what?
All the time.
Yeah, yeah, damn near 100% of the time.
And you know, I mean, we sang the song last night, All Nighter.
Yeah.
But the reason that song has the line "Keep 'em close and tied by your side" is Muzzy, because you'll probably have to forgive me because I get a little emotional.
That's okay. So do I.
I'm a softie.
Yeah.
No, I just told Muzz, you know, I said, I hope when my kids are big, that we're friends like that.
Yeah.
And he goes, man, just keep them close and tight by your side.
Oh, that's a great line.
And I even told him, I was like, okay, I'm also going to use that line so I can get credit for it. But
did you get writing credit?
No. He gave me
the full book.
Don't do that.
Yeah.
But what's funny about that song is it is all family. You know, it was about Gus, the bass player from Mickey that passed away. And that's it. That's why that song exists. And just the connection that we have with the Browns.
Yeah.
Like my kids, last night I walked up on Willie Braun and Willie Canada and Derek Canada talking, and they high-fived. I was like, what are y'all celebrating? And Willie goes, we're all in the singles club now. Because they don't have girlfriends now. But that's just, God, it's awesome. You know, I have pictures of Willie on Willie Braun's shoulders.
Yeah.
Watching a baseball game.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It's just,
great people. So did you meet the Braun boys when they came to Austin? Is that how that relationship started? Or
so today is going to be a very full circle moment for me and my wife. When her and I just got married, and Robert Earl Keen was doing his Texas Uprising in Dallas at the Smirnoff. Well, I don't even know what it's called now, but it was a Smirnoff thing. And I told Shannon I've never seen Steve Earle. I've never seen him. He's a gigantic influence.
Right.
I've never seen him. So she bought us tickets. But back in those days, Jason Bowen and Stoney were all those whoops.
Well, right.
So she ended up buying everybody tickets.
Okay.
They were all broke musicians, and she wasn't, you know. She did a good job. And so we went to see Steve Earle. There wasn't a whole lot of people there, big place, you know. And we just started hopping seats and got as close as we could. And the very first band to play was Reckless Kelly. Never heard of them. Really? Never heard a song. Never even heard their name. Hang on, we got this beer.
Yeah, you're good.
Thanks, baby. Can I drink on camera?
You bet. You drink all you want.
Um, sorry, that was probably really loud.
No, you're good. You're good.
So we went to see Steve Earle, and we got as close as we could. And this band walked on stage, and the very first song just blew our doors off. Like, who are these people? And then they said, he goes, we're Reckless Kelly from Austin, Texas. Last night we played at a grocery store. This is amazing.
Oh my
Yeah, and they had really just started.
Right.
And
Right.
as Reckless, they just moved to Austin.
Right.
And I looked at Bola and I said, we got to be friends with these people because this is what we're doing. Right. Like, they were the first, we knew Pat Green, his music and stuff. And of course, Robert, Jerry Jeff, and all that, Todd Snyder. But we didn't really know this.
Sure.
And Robert Earl, I bugged Robert Earl. I'm surprised he still likes me. I bugged him so much when I was a younger musician. Now we're good friends, which is pretty awesome. But they walked out and played a 45-minute set. And I told Shannon, she was the manager of the Warmy Dog Saloon.
Okay.
In Stillwater, Oklahoma. And Jason and I were the Tuesday night musicians.
Okay.
And I told her, I said, we need to get them to the Warmy Dog. So we reached out to the right people, and they traveled up to the Warmy Dog, and we started hanging out, being friends with each other, and we'd drive to Dallas to see them, and anywhere they were. And then we caught them in Oklahoma City with Robert Earl Keen at the Will Rogers Theater. And I really felt like that was the night.
Right.
That was the night that we became really good pals. I was kind of felt like this is going to be a forever friendship.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. There's that moment and those people that you bond with, right?
Yeah. They're just, and we came up to Stanley, Idaho. We were in Wyoming. And Cody called Shannon with the only phone that we had in the band.
Right.
Probably 2001. And they called Shannon and said, hey, you're not really that far away from Stanley.
Well, when you look at Texas, yeah.
Jacksonville, Wyoming.
Yeah.
And so, man, you got to threaten me with a good time. I'm in,
Yeah.
And so we had a week off, but it was there's no point in driving all the way home and then all the way back up in the mountains.
Right.
So we went to Stanley for like 4 days. And
right.
Stayed out at their house.
Yeah.
They're good human beings.
Yeah. Well, we don't know them well, obviously not like you guys, but we followed Mickey and the Motor Cars and Reckless for many, many years. We saw them years ago before they ever left to go to Texas, and then we followed them over the years. But during COVID, when no one was traveling, we hired Mickey and Gary, and they came and did a private unplugged show for us and 60 of our friends.
What do y'all do?
We live in Shelley, just 10 miles south Idaho Falls.
Oh, okay.
So we're close.
Okay, cool.
So and we came here the first time 10 years ago, but we've only been here 5 times. So we've had to miss things for family reunions.
Yeah.
Stuff that we hate to miss.
Stuff you can't miss. Yeah.
But no, we've just become huge Texas country music, red dirt music, Americana music. But that's we listen to some of the other stuff. But we got to see Jelly Roll in Colorado, and he was phenomenal.
I heard he's great. I've only heard a couple of tunes, but to be honest with you, I don't follow any. I'm surrounded by metal.
Yeah.
And my fan list is the metal. Shannon's a metalhead.
Oh.
The boys are metalheads.
Right.
Right. I mean, I listened to a lot of metal when I was a teenager, skater punk.
Sure.
But, I listened to Merle Haggard and Grateful Dead and metal.
There you go.
That's really so.
Right.
I gave up on modern country. I didn't completely give up. I just turned the radio off.
Well, and I think a lot of us, if we have a choice, right? I have a huge Spotify list, that is this genre that I love, and we both do. But Shanda, we grew up in the 70s, so I lean towards that classic rock stuff, the original CCR.
Yeah, right.
Right. And some of that stuff, Marshall Tucker, but I really, really love this music, and it resonates with us, right? And so,
honest music.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. I think that's what gets everybody is it's real. Yeah. And people aren't writing songs just to make $1, don't write songs. for people to dance to. You know, this is how I feel about this situation, and I'm gonna write about it.
Right, right. Well, and that's what's cool about it, and that's why it resonates with people. And our whole goal with this podcast is to make sure more people know about this genre and know about you artists. You know, obviously you've been around a long time, you've got a great reputation, and people have known about you for a long time. But there are a lot of people like I don't know if you got a chance to listen to Buddy DeVore out there for a minute, but that guy, they
I heard him doing Full Hearted Memory by George Strait, and I had to stay.
yeah, they kicked ass. They kicked ass, and they actually. Did you hear him do Prince, Purple Rain?
No,
oh my god,
I missed that.
Yeah. I got a little clip. I'm gonna have to share that on my social media.
Okay,
because it was phenomenal, just great. But really cool guy, and they're coming to a little venue right up the road where Jeff and Darcy have both played there. It's called Bone Idaho. 200 seats. I'm not even seats. It's a little grassy venue. It's such a cool place.
Yeah,
Bone Idaho. It's called Steel and Joe's Bone, and it's out in the little ranching community, and it's just cool. And the last few years, they've really pushed the music scene up there. In fact, Wilder Blue was there. They just got done opening for Luke Combs, and they came and played 200 people in Bone. So, but Darcy's coming to play, and Muzzy's going to be there, I think, next week. So my goal is to get to sit down with Muzzy and talk to him about this festival and the start, because I knew it started with his three brothers, right? Yeah. Or the three brothers total, but yeah. But back to the Bronx a little bit, and your knowledge of those guys, and the comment that Muzzy made to you, I look at that and have such respect for Muzzy and those kids. How do you raise 4 kids that all end up being incredible musicians?
Well, Muzzy's an incredible musician.
Absolutely. But how do you, I mean, you got 2 boys that love music, right? Mm-hmm. They didn't have really a lot of choice in it either, but.
No, they didn't.
but like Django Walker, I talked to Django, here's Jerry Jeff's kid, but he's got a sister, has no interest in music.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So how does that, I mean, your kids have been immersed in it. Mm-hmm. And even others that have. Mm-hmm. I wanted to be a horse trainer when I was younger, and that I craved it. I grew up a farm boy, and I worked for a world champion, and some other guys I was around, and they all had kids that had nothing to do with the horse business. Yeah. And I'm like, why would you not? You're a world champion, and your kids don't want anything to do with this. Yeah. Same in the music deal, but anyway.
No, I get it. I mean, all my family was cowboys in North Texas. North Texas, and my dad was the black sheep. Because he didn't want to do it.
Right.
And he got out, and man, I grew up on the weekends at my grandparents' ranch and stuff. But it just wasn't my thing. I mean, I'd rather sit in the house and play with cars than
I think
that's what horsing.
Well, and I think it just depends on your personality.
Yeah.
What do you gravitate towards? And I've told this story to everybody, but I started playing guitar 50 years ago and didn't stick with it. And one of my biggest regrets about it.
Yeah.
Right? So in December, I forced myself to start playing. And I play every day, and I played an hour to 2 hours a day every day since the 1st of December. Yeah. And so I'm learning some things, and I told Django that story, and I said, one of the songs I learned was Mr. Bojangles. And he goes, I got some cool stuff to teach you about this song. And I'm like, I'm in. You teach me. I'm listening. I'm a student, right? But just love this music. Oh, he's a cool dude. He's so cool.
He gave me that last night.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, he always gives me jewelry.
Really?
He gave me one of his dad's rings.
Oh, how cool is that?
Last night he goes, you're not wearing it. I was like, dude, I don't want to lose that thing. That's for photo shoots.
Yeah, that's one of those deals that you are forever keep saying.
Oh, yeah. I keep it in my bag just for kind of good luck.
Sure. Well, so let's talk a little bit about Cody Canada and your music journey. I know I read in your bio you saw George Strait at Ford. Mm-hmm. Right? Yeah.
That lit me on fire.
Lit you on fire?
Yeah, I was mesmerized. My mom and dad, my dad worked for Armco Steel. He was the president at the oil boom, so he really didn't work a lot. Mm-hmm. He was hosting a lot of people at the time.
Sure.
And they got tickets to a place called Cowboys, and George Strait was playing. And I remember him saying, "Hey, I have to take so and so to the bar tonight to see George Strait." She was like, "I don't know who that is." The thing is, I don't know who that is either. But
oh no,
I mean, this was 1980.
Oh yeah.
And so we went, and back then you could get into a bar with your parents back then.
Sure.
In Oklahoma. And we were front row. And it was a West Point.
Right.
I mean,
Like this.
It was like this.
Yeah.
You know, and we were sitting right up front, and I couldn't take my eyes off the dude. I was like, this is amazing. Hey, I listened to music, never heard his music.
Sure.
And I grew up with my sister's classic rock stuff and my dad's classic country. And I remember going home that night and I asked Mom if I could get a guitar. So well, I had one. I was gonna, Mom's kind of hard ass. She's like, well, I had one, but I was going to sell it because nobody plays it. It's like, well, it's getting the club with your mom. Like, well, I want to play it. She goes, where are you going to learn it? Or I'm going to throw it away. So I learned it.
Oh, that's so cool.
I learned it, and when I started getting a little better at it, I bought like a George Strait music book.
Mm-hmm.
Learned how to play rhythm to all these songs, but I didn't really sing. Wasn't really my thing. That's a terrifying first step, singing in front of people.
Oh yeah.
And I'd always, sing in my house by myself, and fast forward to being a teenager. Grady, the guy was in Ragweed. We were just sitting around. Well, I mean, nothing's off limits. We were teenagers, all sitting around smoking pot, probably the third time in our lives. Sure, listening to music, and then he goes, "I know you know how to sing that." And he goes, "Oh no, I'm not doing that." And he taught me into it because there was just like 5 of us. That was the moment I realized, like, man, if I keep it up, I think I can do this. Sure, I think I can sing and play. And so I really dove into guitar lessons for about a year, and when I was probably 7, I guess. And didn't really do much for me. Mm-hmm. He was one of those guys that you have to learn Twinkle Twinkle and Right on Land, and that's like boring. It's like, man, I want to learn how to play, Sweet Home Alabama. I want to learn how to play some Steve Earle songs. And so he told me, he's like, man, you already know what you're doing. Just keep playing. You're just going to get better. Because I showed you the scales. I showed you finger picking. Yeah. And, you're just wasting your money. Yeah. So I left, and man, it wasn't much after I started singing that I started getting pretty serious about it. Parents split, which really made me a better musician. Mm-hmm. I was ready for the road. I was 13. Really? I was ready to go. They were split, and they were off chasing each other's tails and I was just kind of left
on your own.
I lived in an apartment by myself that my dad paid for.
Wow.
Yeah, it was pretty messy. And but I stuck in the bars. Sure. My dad always told me, he's like, if you're going to play music and you're going to sneak in the bars, you need to wear the cowboy hat because you look old. Right. When you just go in there wearing your skate shit, you look like a kid. Right. Probably his way of saying, I wish he would dress more like George Strait. Right. He still says that to me. He's 78 years old. I'm 48 years old. He goes, you think you ever put that cowboy hat back on? I was like, Dad, I think it's a little late for rebranding. Right. But and then when they split, that's when the movement, the grunge movement happened. And I was in love. I was so in love.
Pearl Jam, the grunge,
Nirvana, and the Stone Temple Pilots. I was so in love. I was so angry, and I was angry. Sure. And so then I really switched and started playing rock. I veered off of country. Really for good. Really? I was still listening to George Strait and Haggard and stuff like that, but I was also incorporating rock music into those lyrics. Sure. So it was a good combination. I think with Haggard and Pearl Jam, it was a good combination for a divorced kid.
Well, and it developed your sound. Right? Yeah. I mean, it was really the catalyst to develop what you've done. So how old were you when you actually started Ragweed?
I had just turned 17. Okay. I played at the high school. I played an acoustic set at the high school. I opened for Toby Keith. He came to the Yukon, Oklahoma. Yukon's one of Garth Brooks. That's where I grew up. Right. So everybody thought that I wanted to be Garth Brooks. And I was like, I love Garth Brooks, but I don't want to do that. I want to do my own deal. Right. So I opened for Toby at the FFA thing. Cool. And I was an FFA student, so I got to upper hand.
Yeah, you bet.
So I got to play, and then Randy Ragsdale, the drummer for Ragweed, I didn't know him. He was 2 years younger than me. He came up to me and said, "Hey, I'm a drummer. Hey, cool." I was like, "I'm doing my own thing, Thanks." And I was like, "Well, I really want you to come over." I don't know. 6 months passed, and he showed up to my house with a drum set in the back of his truck. Very persistent little guy.
And like with you and Robert Ray, right?
Yep. And then I said, "Man, here's the deal. I've been working all day. Different stuff. I'm going to a party. I don't want to play tonight." He goes, "Can I go with you?" Yeah. So we got to know each other that night. And next day I went to his house. It was just him and I kind of doing a White Stripes kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I didn't know, I didn't really play lead. I just played rhythm. I knew a little bit of lead. And then I said, "Hey, I know a guy named Jeremy Plato. We've been friends since 6th grade. And he's a stud playing bass. And he's a stud singer." And Randy goes, "Well, my best friend really wants to get into playing bass." So, well, Jeremy knows play.
Right.
We need to, if we're going to do this, we need to know how to play. I lost that battle, and Matt Wiedemann was the first bass player for that. He was there for 6 years. And just didn't work. Well, I tell you what happened. He got very young.
Okay.
And just fell in love with the first person. And he wanted us to play his wedding and asked Plato to play bass. And I knew that was my moment.
Right.
Like, Randy's going to hear this. And after sound check, they go, "Hey, I think we let Matt go." He's like, "You guys are going to ask me to do it, aren't you?"
You spring that on him out on his wedding, right?
We waited till after the honeymoon. And he got home, and we said, "Hey, let's go meet." So we went. I said, we need to go meet in public because he's a hothead. So anyway, we let him go, and it was kind of gross for a minute. But and then 10 years later, he was at Steamboat Music Festival cheering us on.
Yeah.
Everybody still likes him.
Well, time heals a lot, right?
It does, and he got to the age where he realized he wasn't as good as Jeremy,
right?
And they're friends. So,
well, kind of the segue into my next question is, so your song 17, you brought up. I love that song. Well, you're always 17 in your hometown.
That song is about that town, man. I got married and we moved back to Yukon, from Stillwater. I felt like the band and we all in the same town. Not necessarily. And then eventually, we were 6 hours away from each other.
Sure.
But Jason Boland was in Dallas. We were in Yukon. We were at Jeremy's house. And that's on Route 66 and Garth Brooks Boulevard. And on Garth Brooks Boulevard is the high school and the middle school. Right across the street is the speed track.
Oh, okay.
And I was not a troublemaker by any means.
Right.
But, man, the cops didn't like me. It was because I was a free-spirited kid.
Sure.
I had long hair.
Yeah.
I was rumored to smoke weed.
Right.
I was rumored to.
That was just rumored.
It was rumored. And very frowned upon, and
sure.
But what they didn't realize, I did those things because I was an anxious, lost kid. Parents kind of just walked away. Dad's back in the so me and Jason were pretty baked. And so let's go get some beer. Yeah. And he goes, all right. So he starts walking towards the Lowe's, which is basically Jim's backyard. He's like, no, we have to go down to the Tonko. He goes, well, that's right there. So do you have any money? He's like, if we go down to that Tonko, we'll put it on my dad's bill. I ain't getting beer from my dad since I was probably 4 years old. Right. Walking and say, hey, throw it back to my dad. So we passed the cop, and I had this old yellow Chevy truck. It was the only yellow in the Target. And right. Drove right by that cop. Goldie goes, well, you said tense. I said, that's Officer Newberry. He does not like me. He goes, you're not doing anything wrong. And I was like, this truck is doing everything wrong to these cops. They don't like me.
Right.
And he goes, I said, I just felt like I was in high school again. And Boland said it. He goes, man, you're always 17. I looked at him, he looked at me, he went, yeah. He's like, yeah, let's don't do it tonight. I'm like, no, let's don't write drunk.
Right.
That's a mistake.
Right.
And so let's wait a minute. So that was Monday night. And we had to leave to be at the Army Dog on Tuesday. And I was driving the van. And I pulled over and I said, somebody else has to drive. I have to write this song. It's fresh. It's hot.
Right.
So I wrote it in the back of the van on the way to the gig. And gave Bolin half credit, even though I didn't write it either. It's like, well, you gave the thing. Legs. I mean,
Right.
You really gave birth to this idea.
Sure.
And we've never ever sang that song together, which is wrong.
Really?
I every time I do a show with him, it's like, we've never done that. He's like, yeah, we need to start.
Does he ever sing?
Nope.
Never sing.
No.
So,
That's it.
we grew up, Shannon and I both grew up in small towns, her in a small town in Arizona, me in southeast Idaho. But you never outlived that, your reputation.
No.
So we go home for class reunions and people saying that. Yeah, I remember you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah.
that song really resonated.
I did not have a good time in high school. And it wasn't the kids. It was the administration. They just didn't like me. They didn't. I remember my ag teacher. There was two ag teachers, Mr. Goodson and Mr. DeVilbiss. Mr. Goodson was my sister, both of my sister's teacher. Great friend of the family.
Sure.
And DeVilbiss was just, if you didn't do what he wanted to, then he hated you. And
that's probably pretty common.
yeah. And
everywhere.
DeVilbiss yelled at me in front of the entire school. I went up to the ag farm to clean up pig shit. And it was an aid.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to be at school. Like
Sure.
I had 2 hours of ags. I'd go out there and just clean and get it out myself. I didn't want to go out there with anybody. But I'd come back and I'd stupid habit, but I've been smoking cigarettes just to be cool. And I popped in some mint gum.
Mm-hmm.
And he thought it was weed. He goes, I smell pot on you. Like, what? I wouldn't dare do that. I wouldn't dare go out. I wouldn't smoke pot. Like, oh, Jesus Christ. And I said, I smoked a cigarette. He goes, well, that's not what it smells like to me. He goes, everybody in that school knows what you do. He called me Hollywood. They always call me Hollywood. And he said, everybody knows what you do, Hollywood. He goes, but what you need to do is show a steer or a hog because you're a natural leader. And he goes, this music thing's just a pipe read. Not going to happen. And I was like, well, with all due respect, Mr. DeVilbiss, I don't give a shit what you think. I'm going to play music. If I have to be a street hustler,
Right.
I'm going to play music. And he didn't like me anymore. But Mr. Goodson, the other teacher, he was just like, oh, it's you, yeah. Thanks, sir. And he was, he wrote his, he passed away. Mr. Goodson, like 2020, Cody Canada. He found out we were playing Scourges, and he rode his motorcycle all the way up there.
Oh, really?
He showed up to the bus, and he's always real clean cut, Oklahoma cowboy. And he showed up, and his hair was long, and his beard was long. He's like, look what I did for you guys. Really, it's not just for y'all. But yeah, that song, I mean, it's, I wrote a couple of other songs, about that situation, about those people. And I don't know. I just don't think that you should put people down because they got a dream.
Oh, absolutely not.
That is, first of all, I think that I've always thought that's jealousy.
It is. You're getting to live the dream they wanted.
Yeah.
And talked about Django earlier. Texas on my mind. You know the story there. There was a school project. He showed up. His teacher goes, "That's the dumbest song I've ever seen." It ends up being #1 in Texas country for 16 weeks or something. And
a little guy named Garth Brooks recorded it live in Dallas with Jerry Jeff. I don't know if you ever seen it.
Oh, I didn't. No.
There's a live video of Garth did at Cowboy Stadium. And,
wow.
He brought Jerry Jeff out, and they sang Django's song.
Well, and Pat Green's the one who really, really.
Yeah. And then Django wrote the boat song.
Yeah, something about a boat.
Yeah.
What a great song.
Man, I mean.
Yeah.
Well,
so let me ask you on that. So we're talking about songwriting. So what's your favorite song you've ever written?
It's always the latest one.
Oh, sure.
It really is. We have one, the Paper Moon. It's brand new. We haven't even recorded it.
Okay.
It's fun because the freedom of it. It's very Pearl Jam. I finally have a song that's like, you know what? This sounds like the third or fourth Pearl Jam record.
Right.
This song's good rock beat to it. That one, Elle, you met her.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wrote a song about her.
Okay.
She had a bad breakup and just lost so much weight and just moved me.
Yeah.
And she's an inspiration.
Yeah.
My cry again.
No, that's cool.
She's like my daughter.
Well, those I mean, obviously your songwriters are inspired by events or something that impacted your life, and so that's why it's so cool.
Songs about I write about my kids, I write about my wife, I write about my friends, my dad.
Yeah, yeah. I know you have a great, because I follow you on social media. You post constantly, not constantly, but you post a lot about your dad. And and I've lost my dad. Both our parents are gone, and so we know what it's like to kind of be an orphan.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah. Well, he's my best buddy.
Yeah. That's awesome.
He wanted to be here, but he got a bum knee.
Oh,
we're getting it fixed.
Oh, good. Well, let's talk a little bit about your what's been your most successful song or most successful album, would you say?
Soul Gravy, the first time around, when we first recorded that one was a big one for us. The Purple record, which was our first national debut.
Okay.
Which was our third record.
Okay.
That one did good. It got a lot of people's attention, but the Soul Gravy was the sophomore.
Okay.
And man, I was on the show.
Right.
I think we didn't crack the goal, but collectively, when we were with Universal, we sold 2 million records, but that was collectively.
Sure.
Now it's just like people get gold singles. Like, man, if we had been around in the gold single area,
right. It'd been easy.
Yeah,
we'd wrecked them.
Wrecking them in. But I think probably Garage and Soul Gravy. Garage to me was a labor of love. That was when everybody was pregnant. We walked in on one song, and we were going to write the rest of the studio and so nervous. And we just released Soul Gravy. Just did the video of me and one. So we were in Nashville doing all that. We got a van who had our record. He said, "Hey, I need to talk to you about some things." It's like, don't give me a record deal. I just released it.
Right.
He said, "You guys do this and it drives me crazy. My anxiety spikes and I don't want to write these songs. It's me close.
Right.
I don't do publishing. I had publishing, but I won't do the songwriting board.
Right.
Wade and Randy and all those guys. Not even Jenkins. They have to get over it.
Yeah.
Wade.
Yeah.
That's horrifying. So, then he goes, "I'm going to need a record by October 4th. I said, "Man, I just asked you to
Right.
I'm triple. He goes, "Well, I know you got one song." It's like, one, you're going to need at least 10.
Right.
And I'm not going to put 10 songs on a record. I'm going to put 14, 15 songs on a record. Because you can do it, you work good under pressure. I'm like, oh, God, I hate that. So, first 2 days in the studio was just, and it worked. And it was my favorite. That was my favorite record. Garage is my favorite record. Soul Gravy was my favorite collection of songs. I thought that those songs they flowed.
Yeah.
Together. They would really work together. Garage to me was I just discovered boxing. I just went to France, like a festival in France, and all they had were boxes. It was like, oh, I'm just a boogie guy, American made stuff, but I'll see what happens. And I plugged in. It's like, oh my God. So then I come home and told Willie Bones that. Well, they were with us. I told him when we got home, I had to get a box. He goes, "We're going to have to buy 3 because one of them's going to break down, and then you're going to put the other one on stage, and it's going to break down."
Kind of like owning an old Harley, right? The old shovel heads, right?
Yeah. I mean, it is. I have 3 of them right now. One of them broke yesterday.
Right.
But I think probably to answer the question, it's so Gravy. I mean, it was the most successful. We sold
Yeah.
I mean, we sold 400,000 copies just within like 5 months.
Wow.
And
That's cool.
And then Soul Gravy #2, when we put it out, I did it because that record was rushed. That's the reason it's not my favorite record. It was so rushed. The record label was like, we have to get this out.
Right.
You guys are all doing that. a good you're on fire. You need sophomore record, punching in the face, and like there was a song called Hammer Down that only I could hear it, but the editing was so choppy. I cut a note of it off the beginning, so it doesn't just blast into the song. It's like you almost turned it up in the middle of it.
Okay.
But nobody really can tell. That's why I went.
You can.
I can. That's why I redid it. Like 20 years later.
Well, listen, we could actually talk for hours, and I know you guys. I appreciate you taking the time out of your schedule. This has been so cool, and I want to reserve the right to actually do this again someday.
Yeah.
We get a little background noise here, see what's up in the bars and stuff. But we'll talk about where you're headed.
Adelue, Texas, which I've never been, and then Pampa. And then after Pampa, I gotta be honest, I don't really know because I know I'm having some time off coming up.
Yeah.
And I love time off.
What you need, right?
I need it. I asked off more this year. I told my booking agent 70 shows, no more. And there's a couple I couldn't turn down.
Yeah.
It's like, so I end up, this year it'd be about 90 to 100.
Okay.
So
Cool.
yeah, my dad has his knee surgery in November, so I'm taking November off.
Yeah.
And then December I'll be out. October I'll be at Green Hall. December I'm going out with Whiskey Myers for a couple weeks.
Okay.
Me and Wade Bowen doing acoustic opening up for Whiskey Myers.
Yeah, that'd be cool. That'd be a great show to see. So, yeah, we're going to try and get down. Django invited me to come down to his December 7th show of his dad's music.
Oh, yeah. I'll be there.
You going to be there?
Oh,
I've been to Green Hall 3 times, never seen a show. I know you live there.
I live right. I'm like to that across the street from it.
And the crazy thing, and we didn't get a chance to really talk about it, School of Rock, and maybe we'll have to reserve that for next time because we're running out of storage here. But
absolutely,
man, huge fan. Thank you so much for spending the time with us today.
Thank you, man.
I'm going to ask you real quick. I don't know whether we'll get much with them warming up down there. Yeah. You need a pick or
no? I got my hands.
You're the man. There you go. So this is this little guitar company in Idaho. It's called Teton Guitars. They were so gracious to give me that guitar, and so we want everybody to play it and sing us a little ditty and then sign it.
Well, I'll sing this one because it's our anniversary today.
Yes, please do. Yeah, so we can maybe Shannon will really hear it.
All right, this was our first fight, and it was over a Christmas tree. It's really dumb. You bring me sunshine, and I bring you rain. Bring you smiles, drive you out of your brain. Bring me up, I bring you down. Bring you flowers, brings you around. Know that I'm hard to live with, try to live with out me, girl. You drive me crazy and I drive you mad. We're the best thing that we've ever had. You roll your head back on your shoulders, you roll your eyes, you know it gets to me. But then we roll back all the covers. We're gonna roll through eternity. Know that I'm hard to live with, try to live with out me, girl. Drive you crazy, drive me mad, but we're the best thing that we've ever had. We're the best thing, just ask your dad.
Awesome.
He was in the same key.
Was he in the same key?
Awesome.
See, I'm tone deaf, so I couldn't.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Here you go.
All right.
Sign that for me. Once again, thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule. I know that this is it's always hard to make time for everything. And I feel bad because I told the kids I wanted to record them. We can maybe do something on your phone because I have that other headset. So
Yeah, I think
might.
they're finished up eating down there.
Yeah,
I'll
yeah,
fill
and
them
you're missing. Hey, one thing.
all.
Just wanted to remind everybody to go on to our YouTube page, Musical Miles Podcast, and sign up for the subscription. Follow us on all social media. Thank you again so much.
Thank you, brother.
Appreciate you a bunch. And
Thank you.
till next time, we'll see ya. Adios.
up.